Hello, I'm Jen Lynn Roberts from Present Path Tarot, and today I want to share with you a new deck I got that just came out recently called the Tarot of the Divine. This is by Yoshi Yoshitani, and it comes in a nice box, and comes with a nice little book that is fun, simple, gives you every card in color with a little paragraph and keywords that card's about, and the name of the myth, because every card has been assigned a different myth from around the world, and she really has reached far and wide. My dad is really into mythology. He's read everything Joseph Campbell's ever written. I mean, everything. And even the introduction to the tarot book that Joseph Campbell did. And there were so many myths that he didn't know and I didn't know that I decided to get the book Beneath the Moon, which is a nicer in-depth detail of each of the cards. So you can get more understanding of each card while looking at it. And then of course you can also deep dive into any of these myths by going on a search for more information about it, and you could probably learn a lot about each myth. So this is a neat deck because it helps you both explore mythology and archetypes, which is key to tarot. And it also helps you explore the tarot cards themselves and deepen your understanding by making associations with myths that you already know. So I wanted to share with you my unique take on it. And I start with having the fives out. So we have the Five of Pentacles, the coins, which is the little matchstick girl, a story I've known since childhood. Tragic tale. And it really, when I pull that card now, I'm going to have that deeper association and even maybe perhaps a better compassion for where the person is at who I'm reading for, and the depth of challenges they're facing, the feelings of hopelessness that they're facing. I appreciate that it brings that emotional element into this story that affects my heart directly, because I read empathically, so the feeling of things is really key. And then we have the story for Five of Swords of Osiris, Set, and Isis. This is a great story my dad has told me countless times. And Isis, I know she gets hers in the end. So this is a moment where Osiris has been killed by Set, but I know that through quite an adventure, she's going to end up winning the day and she pieces back together her husband's parts that she finds. Woo! And even that could be a myth of the different parts of the body and how they all come together to create this spirit of Osiris, which she then is able to create a child with. La Llorona is Five of Cups. I mean, that's the ultimate sorrow story. Great choice. And in this, it's the story of a woman who kills her own children and then goes through the streets of Mexico weeping. So it just captures that essence of that sorrow. And what I like is I already know those three, so I'm in. But then this one, the Pandavas, I don't even know it, and I gotta go find out about it now to learn more about the Five of Wands. You know, the little book gave me a little detail of how, these brothers fought together as a unity force against things for the good, right? Well, now I gotta go read a Sanskrit epic poem so I can deepen my understanding of the Five of Wands, which honestly just sounds like a good Sunday afternoon to me, to have to go research something more. And that's going to give me a more in-depth understanding of this card. But if I don't know it, if I look at this card and I'm like, I don't know, well, then I'll just have to manage and work with the knowledge I already have of what the Five of Wands is about. So this is a great thing if you're learning the cards, but also if you know the cards, you have a place to start anyway. So it's just a layering. As an example of like a reading that could happen, we have 4 cards here, which I do have a concept of each. I pulled them on purpose for that, to kind of show what happens when you do know the myths and learn the myths from this deck. The first is White Buffalo Calf Woman, and I was in a goddess study group with a group of women, and we would every month get together and talk about a different goddess and then invoke her or welcome her to show us what her messages were. And White Buffalo Calf Woman is the goddess who brought the Chanupa pipe to the people. And her first story is one of fierceness, where she, a boy looks at her in a sexual way and she just like turns him to puff and dust. and the other one honors her and is respectful of her, and she, gives him and his community this gift. So I love and brings a ritual with the gift of the Chanupa pipe. So I love her, and in our group, we actually loved her so much that we kept her around for a couple extra months because it was such a grounding force. And Hierophant card is very grounding. So I love that I have a sense of what this character is that layers on top of the Hierophant a far more positive message than the Pope might for some. And then we have the Seven of Wands, John Henry, the story of the man who beat the train but then died. So he's a warrior spirit, and that adds so much more. Seven of Wands is about being that fighter, that warrior, even when you're up against all odds. But the John Henry story just adds such a deeper meaning of what type of warrior that is. I'm pulling that in a reading and I see, oh, okay, I'm getting both Native American and Native American myth with slightly more modern, I'd say, American folk tales. And that means that they're both kind of in this land, which I'm familiar with. And that can add a certain layer in itself of that particular flavor of the part of the earth that these myths come from. So then I can see the Judgment card with the Monkey King, which my boyfriend loves the Monkey King. If you watch, there's a bunch of Monkey King movies that are kind of cheesy, but they're pretty fun. And you can learn about the story of the Monkey King who brought Buddhism to China. And he was really wily. He's a monkey. So his association with the Judgment card, it's bringing the light and the truth out to the people. So I love how, now I can see that, John Henry's bringing his light and his truth forward. She is a white buffalo calf woman. And how now we have sort of an underlying theme of these different stories combined. And finally, we have the Two of Cups, which I'm going to go look at my book real quick, is the story of Gilgamesh and his enemy / buddy Enkidu. And this is one of the oldest myths in the world. It's Sumerian, which is now from the land of Iraq area. And this is the story. I love that it's Two of Cups. It's this combined forces of love, but also with the message of there's a conflict inherent in love. And that just layers it for me. So, then when we see the whole story come together, we can have two people who have deep differences sharing their truth and being fighters together to bring forth a new system of the Hierophant card, or bring forth empowerment of the right system. I think that's a beautiful message right now. I love that reading. And I like how I can intertwine these I love different cultures and how I can consider how these different cultures interact in the cards. So there's so much to play with here. If you look at the grander picture of the cards, another goddess who we had in our goddess group as a focus was Yemaya. She's the Queen of Cups. Beautiful choice. This is a goddess who came across she's an Orisha. I hope I said that right. And she came across the ocean with the slaves who came from the Yoruban tribes in Africa. Perhaps other tribes celebrated her as well. And came across to Americas and to Brazil, where there's a great following of Yemaya there. So I love this Queen of Cups. I already have a deep love of this character and this nature of true love, and also of that traveling factor, that sort of world travel through where water touches, Yemaya touches, and that element added to the Queen of Cups. I love learning more. I got to learn a bit about a Korean myth in the Justice card. I thought the Magician as the fairy godmother was a little strange, but okay, all right. The Lover's card is Beauty and the Beast. So you'll know a lot of these stories. And then there's ones that are fun to learn, like Tam Lim, I think, from Scotland. I don't know this one, but what I like is she takes the Strength card, and now she's fighting a sort of, normally it's a lion that she's slowly embattling and cajoling into her best interests. And you can see her fighting it, but it's like an alligator lion. Which, I don't know, I just love. Queen of Wands is Pele. And I love the King of Coins is the turtle on its back, which she assigns to one mythology, but amazingly, the earth being represented by a turtle who has the world on its back is common in many different cultures. And there's something magical about that to me, that so many different cultures have taken that particular myth and it just interwoven it. How did it come? It seems to have popped up in different places. Her Fool card is the Little Mermaid, which is great. And make sure, I think it's wise if you do this, don't just follow the Disney story. That girl doesn't make it. She ends up sea foam, So you can either go with the Disney myth or you can go with the more traditional myth. And then the Hanged Man is the one card that I was a little bit uncertain about, because it is a card of the Hanged Man is the story of Odin. I do wish she would have picked Odin for that, just because it goes with the traditional story. But sure, it's someone sleeping. Okay, sounds good. Coyote is the Seven of Swords, so a trickster element. I just really love how she took so many myths from all over the world and intertwined them for this deck. So Yoshi Yoshitani, great job. And also, thank you for the reasonable pricing. $20 for the deck, I think $18 for the book, and you can find them cheaper some places. Beautifully done. Simple cards. I mean, the texture and stuff, nice, considering the price point especially. But share with me in the comments if you have this deck, your favorite cards and the aligned meaning with the archetype and the myth that she assigned, or what you would choose as any myths that you assign to cards in your own deck that you already have decided on your story that it goes with it. And share in the comments anything you have to share about what mythology you have loved diving into and learning about, because I'm always interested to learn more. Thank you for joining today. Please subscribe to my page and join me on this journey of mythology and archetypes that we find in the tarot that brings just, I don't know, such richness to life. Thank you very much and have a beautiful day.